Good afternoon, guys. It's working, bringing you a quick update on Bitcoin. Hope you guys are having a wonderful afternoon. We're looking at Bitcoin to the US dollar. This is the 4-hour chart on Bitfinex. And last time we spoke, guys, Bitcoin, it looked like it was operating within a smaller wedge. We were kind of watching this zone right here. It looked like there may have been a possible breakout. Excuse me, and price just ended up going sideways. Just ended up kind of a anticlimactic move there. And as it continued to move sideways, we watched price. It came down, created a series of higher lows in relation to this prior here. Again, more higher lows here, continuation of lower highs. And if we pull out here to the daily, guys, we can see that price just ended up coming out and creating a larger wedge pattern, which to me looks like it's probably going to break out. Possibly, I should say possibly, I don't even want to say probably, possibly going to break out in the next 24 to 48 hours. Now, does that mean that has to happen? No, but probability, I'd just say it's a strong possibility. And in my opinion, one of the two areas that we're watching, and clearly we're trading within a range, we're trading between this 6100 and 6540. The majority of that trading, as I pointed out last time, guys, is taking place right in here between this 6280, 6540 zone. That again, that's the far and away the majority of the trading is happening right in that area, guys. Just quit a little wicks down into the 6280 zone, but mostly staying above here, at least it has in the past, just kind of following this 6280 line, snaking around it. And I do think that, there, as I said, a high probability that price is going to break out. When I say break out, I don't mean break up. I mean break out in one direction or another. Right now, I do believe that favors the downside, possibly testing the 2018 lows. We're going to be watching, though, for a possible fake out. We know that if we come out here and we look at short positions, now let me pull out shorts, there we go. Short positions remain extremely stacked, very close to all-time highs. If we come and look at longs, longs remain relatively low in relation to shorts, so retail believes this market is going to go down. So that the market makers have a lot of incentive to possibly squeeze those shorts out of the market and drive price right back up. So we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out. But I can see we're going to be watching this prior low here, this candle, which sits at about 6110, somewhere thereabouts. I can see market makers taking this thing down, faking everybody out, thinking that it's going to go low, and then they reverse it, bring it right back up, and squeeze everybody out of their short positions. To the other side, guys, I can also see one of the things I'm sure about is I think market makers want to bring this price down, and it's kind of this standoff between retail and market makers to see which one's going to. I think I think retail is getting smarter. They know that market makers want to bring this price down, and so they're all waiting for it. And again, remember, this is a zero-sum game. Trading is a zero-sum game. So for somebody to make money, somebody has to lose money. That's just the way it is, guys. This is a no holds barred, rough game, and it's not for the faint of heart. So if you're going to play this game, guys, you've got to be very, very ready. So market makers, they want to take your money. So how are they going to do that? Again, possibly faking everybody out, thinking it's going to go low, bring it right back high. But I know they want to bring price lower. So they might do the opposite, bring price right back up. At that point, I'm going to be watching this prior high of this candle, which sits at about 6540, somewhere thereabouts. Possible double top, fake everyone out, think it's going higher, and then they turn it right back around and bring it down to the lower prices, which is where they want to get in anyway. So that's a real possibility. Which direction is it going to go? I honestly don't know. As I said, my bias is down. I do think that we may test this prior 2018 low, possible double bottom, and then right back up. If we do end up breaking down and breaking below 6100, there's a very high probability we're going to come into this zone here between 6850, 6700, and the way price reacts if and when it does get down there is going to be very telling. If we do get a very strong reaction like we had back here or like we have in the past, that's going to be a very, very bullish indication of possibly another bottoming out again. If price does come down and just starts to consolidate on top of that zone, that's going to be extremely bearish in my opinion. And if that does happen, I think there's a very high probability we're going to come down, test possibly this low here or the low of this zone of 5,700. If that breaks down, we're coming down to 5,450. Again, in my opinion. If we come out here, we look at the bigger picture, guys. If 5450 breaks down, we're going to be watching this ascending support line that's been in place since the beginning of 2017. That would be the only hope of a possible bounce between 5450 and this zone down here of 4600 to 4400. I believe this is a very strong support between 46 and 4400, and if price ever does get down there, that's going to be a must buy in my opinion. We can also see that as we approach the apex of this falling wedge pattern here, there is a very strong possibility. Well, there's certainly either the 2018 lows are going to break down and we're going to create lower lows, or price is going to end up breaking up out of this wedge. One of the two has to happen here. and it has to happen in the next month or so. So it's going to be we are going to get some resolution as to whether or not we're going to get new lows or whether or not we're going to possibly start a bull trend. I think it's very unlikely that we just kind of move sideways. That's a possibility, but I think more than likely, just given this pattern, this is calling for a possible breakout in one direction or another. Coming back to this wedge, guys, as I said, indicates a possible larger move in one direction or another. If we come back and we look at our moving averages, we're seeing the same thing. Let me pull out here to the 4-hour. We're saying the same thing in regard to we are seeing evidence of a possible large move that's coming. How do we know that? Well, we see the 8 and the 21-day EMA are starting to converge. Historically, anytime that's happened, that indicates a possible larger move is brewing. And certainly when that happens in conjunction with the bottlenecking of the Bollinger Bands, the way that they are, and you can see, guys, these Bollinger Bands are just bottlenecking big time, getting narrower and narrower as price continues to move sideways here, and that has always been indicative of a larger move happening. We can see that when this happened here, price just immediately broke down. Excuse me. And as we kind of look back here in time, we can see right here when we got this bottleneck, again, price just broke right down. We can see here when we got this bottleneck, price broke back down. We can see here when we got this bottleneck over here, price broke right back up. So it's not indicating whether or not price is going to break up or down. It's just more indicating that a larger move is a real possibility here in the next, in my opinion, in the next 24 to 48 hours. And I say that based on this wedge, as we're approaching the apex of this wedge, will be there in the next 24 to 48 hours. So again, guys, doesn't mean that has to happen. We can see in the past, oftentimes we've had a larger move only to return back to this area. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this ends up playing out, guys. But again, the two areas I'm watching is 5450. If we do break above 5450, I think it's going to immediately be testing this 6750. I think it'll be a very quick rise between 6540 and 6750. If we do break above 6750, I think it'll be a very quick rise to possibly test this prior high of about 7420, somewhere thereabouts. And if we do break above that prior high of 7420, that's going to break this series of lower highs. We can see, here clearly sitting at about 11,500, about 10,000 here, 8,500 here, 7420 here. If we can break above this 7420, that's going to break that bearish trend of lower highs, possibly break this trend and possibly signal a momentum shift in favor of the bulls. But again, guys, we're nowhere near there yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. In the meantime, guys, we just have to watch and see how price goes. If you wanted to stack buy orders down here, expecting a possible bounce with a very tight stop, that wouldn't be a bad idea. And to the upside, you wanted to stack sell orders at about 6750, expecting a bounce off of that zone. Because remember, that 6750 is the neckline of that inverse head and shoulders. So I do expect that to act as a strong resistance, the way it did here, and here for many, many days. Remember, this is the daily chart, guys, so if I even pulled into the 4-hour, it'd be even more so. And so I do expect that to act out as a strong resistance. And again, if it does break above that, we can see probably a quick rise up to this zone here of 7450 to test that prior high. And at that point, it'll be very, very telling if we can break above that. But again, nowhere near there yet. Getting ahead of myself, guys. We're going to have to wait and see how this plays out. And again, my bias is if we do break 6100, I do believe we're going to test 2018 lows. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it there, guys. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. And as always, guys, I certainly would appreciate an upvote, resteam, or a like if you do like this content. Oh, one more thing, guys. Forgot to point out. This is on the weekly chart. We're also seeing evidence of possible breakout here. We can see that the RSI here on the weekly has been consolidating within this wedge pattern here, indicate a possible, again, as we approach the apex, a possible breakout. We can see a lot of consolidation here also on the weekly MACD. We can see the price came up, kind of came into bullish territory, back down, and just kind of moving sideways, not really having any indication of a trend in one direction or another. That oftentimes happens before a larger breakout. We can see on the stock RSI also here on the weekly, almost creating a little wedge pattern in and of itself, certainly consolidating, getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and again indicating a possible breakout maybe coming here in the near future. And again, when I say breakout, I don't mean break up. I mean a larger move in one direction or another, and we're going to have to wait and see how it plays out. So again, guys, I will wrap it there. Until next time, please trade safe. Take care of yourselves. This is Working, signing out.